Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting genuinely well-informed. Today, we're setting off on a really interesting journey. We're heading to a nation right at the heart of Europe, Germany. Now, you probably think of precision engineering, maybe the Autobahn, efficiency, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, that's the stereotype, definitely.
Exactly. But what we found, digging through the sources you shared, it reveals a country that, well, it constantly defies those simple expectations. It's a place incredibly rich in, nuanced history, diverse culture, and actually a surprising deep commitment to global well-being. That really struck me.
It's true, and you can't really understand Germany today without looking at that central position in Europe and its past. It has literally shaped the continent. Its location has always made it, both a bridge and sometimes a battleground.
Right. So our mission today for this deep dive is to sort of unpack Germany's multifaceted identity. We'll explore everything from its geography, which is pivotal, to its economic power, pretty huge, its unique social fabric, and its significant and evolving role on the world stage. We're going to try and pull out the important nuggets, the key takeaways that will leave you well-informed and, hopefully, looking at Germany in a totally new light.
Sounds good. And that geography is the perfect place to start. Germany's current standing, its whole essence is really rooted there.
Okay, let's dive into that foundation, geography and environment. You see, it's not just in the heart of Europe. It kind of is the heart. It shares land borders with, get this, 9 other countries.
9? Yeah, Denmark, Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, the Netherlands. It's a lot. Makes it a critical crossroads.
Totally. And beyond the land borders, it's got coasts on both the North and Baltic Seas.
Yeah. And this incredible centrality isn't just about borders. The landscape itself is incredibly diverse. You go from the flat North European plain up north through these really beautiful forested uplands in the middle, and then, bam, you hit the Alps down south.
Wow. Quite the range.
Definitely. It's got extremes, The Zugspitze Mountain is almost 3,000 meters high, but then you've got marshlands in the north that are actually below sea level.
That's a huge contrast. And you've got these major rivers weaving through it all.
Right?
Like the Rhine, the Danube, the Elbe.
Exactly. They're not just scenic. Historically, they've been vital lifelines for trade, for culture, agriculture, crucial waterways.
And the climate, what's the general feel?
Generally temperate. You get maritime influences in the west and north, so milder, maybe wetter. And then it gets more continental out east. Winters are, cool, sometimes properly cold. Summers are warm, can get pretty hot, especially down south. Rainfall happens year-round, but summers often bring lots of sun, although late autumn and winter can be quite overcast.
Okay, got it. So moving from the landscape itself, Germany's relationship with the environment is pretty interesting, isn't it? Especially given its industrial history.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a real journey. As a major industrial nation, they've had to tackle some serious issues head on. Think back to things like severe air pollution, acid rain, stuff that was genuinely threatening iconic places like the Black Forest.
And these aren't just problems of the past, right?
Yeah.
They're dealing with very current environmental challenges, too.
For sure. Climate change is hitting them hard. You just have to look at those devastating floods in Western Germany back in July 2021.
Oh, yeah, that was awful. Nearly 200 deaths, billions in damage.
Exactly. And studies linked it, partly at least, to shifts in the jet stream, climate change effects. Plus, they're seeing more frequent summer heat waves, droughts, raising real worries about water supplies down the line.
But what's striking is how they're responding. They seem quite ambitious.
They really are. Germany's taken a leading role globally in environmental policy. They've committed to being net greenhouse gas neutral by 2045. That's a huge goal.
And the energy transition is central to that, isn't it?
Totally. It's a cornerstone. They actually completed phasing out all their nuclear power plants by 2023.
Wow. All of them.
Yep. And now something like getting close to half of their electricity comes from renewables. Wind, solar, biomass. It's why people call Germany the world's first major renewable energy economy. It's a massive shift.
And that's not just top-down policy, right? It seems like the public is really on board.
Yeah, environmental awareness is generally very high. You see it in things like recycling rates around 65% for household waste, which is impressive.
But it's not all smooth sailing, I imagine.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
There are ongoing hurdles. Managing the coal phase-out is complex. Improving urban air quality is still a challenge. Adapting infrastructure for future climate impacts. It's a continuous process.
So this deep commitment, this willingness to tackle big challenges, it feels like it must be connected to their history. right? That whole journey from fragmentation to where they are now.
Absolutely. Germany's sense of identity, its politics, its place in the world, it's all deeply intertwined with this really rich and, frankly, very complex history.
Okay, let's try and trace that a bit. Where do we start? Ancient tribes.
Yeah, way back. You had Celtic and Germanic tribes. The Romans knew the area as Germania. Later, it became the core of the Holy Roman Empire, which lasted for like nearly 1,000 years, from 962 AD.
1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then a huge shift in the 16th century with the Reformation.
Exactly. Martin Luther starting it all right there in German lands. It didn't just change religion, it fundamentally reshaped Europe's politics, its whole structure.
But even then, Germany wasn't really Germany as one country for a long time, was it?
Not at all. That fragmentation lasted centuries. After Napoleon in 1815, they formed this loose German confederation, but real national unity, that didn't happen until 1871.
Bismarck.
Right. Otto von Bismarck, the Prussian chancellor. He was the driving force, strategically uniting the various German states, proclaiming the German Empire. And it quickly became this major industrial and military power.
Then comes the 20th century, which was incredibly turbulent for Germany.
Understatement of the century, probably.
Yeah.
You have World War I from 1914 to 1918, which led to the fall of the empire and the creation of the democratic Weimar Republic.
That didn't last.
No. Economic chaos, social unrest. It tragically paved the way for the Nazi Party's rise in 1933, Hitler's dictatorship, World War II, the Holocaust. Just unfathomable devastation and horror.
And the end of the war didn't bring peace, it brought division.
Precisely. Germany was left in ruins and split in two in 1949. You had democratic West Germany, the FRG, aligned with the West, and communist East Germany, the GDR, under Soviet influence.
And Berlin itself, right down the middle with the wall going up in 61.
Such a stark symbol. Meanwhile, West Germany experienced this incredible Wirtschaftswunder, the economic miracle, rebuilding at amazing speed. East Germany, while it struggled under repression.
But then, that incredible moment in 1989.
Yeah, the peaceful revolutions, the fall of the Berlin Wall. Truly inspiring. And that led to formal reunification on October 3rd, 1990. That date is now German Unity Day, a national holiday.
So, all that history,
Mm-hmm.
how does it shape Germany's modern democracy? What does it look like today?
Well, it means there's a profound commitment to certain democratic principles, learned the hard way. Today, Germany is a federal parliamentary republic. It's made up of 16 federal states, the Länder, and they have quite a bit of autonomy.
Okay. And there's a president, but the real power is with the chancellor.
Exactly. The president is largely ceremonial. Executive power rests with the chancellor. Right now, that's Olaf Scholz from the center-left SPD party. He leads this interesting three-party traffic light coalition, SPD Red, Green, and FDP Yellow. First time they've had that combination at the federal level.
Sounds like it requires a lot of negotiation.
It does, and that really speaks to Germany's political culture. It's deeply ingrained. Consensus building, coalition politics. No single party usually gets an outright majority, so they have to work together.
And the system has checks and balances built in.
Very robust ones. They have a bicameral parliament, the Bundestag and the Bundesrat, and it's all guaranteed by their constitution, the Grundgesetz, or basic law. It was specifically designed to prevent any slide back into authoritarianism.
But even stable systems evolve. The political landscape isn't static, is it? We've seen shifts.
No, definitely not. The traditional big parties, the SPD and the center-right CDU-CSU, have seen their vote shares erode a bit. Smaller parties like the Greens and the FDP have gained influence.
And then there's the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland.
Right. That's been a significant development since about 2013. They're a right-wing populist party, and their emergence has definitely challenged the post-war consensus. Their support has grown, sometimes reaching around 16–21% in recent elections, making them the first far-right party to have a sustained presence in parliament for decades.
How did the other parties handle that?
There's a very strict firewall policy, the Brandmauer. All the mainstream parties refuse to form coalitions or cooperate with the AfD at federal or state level.
Why so strict?
Because the AfD's platform is seen as nationalist, anti-immigrant, and fundamentally at odds with the core values and historical lessons Germany has built its modern identity on. That anti-extremist consensus born from the Nazi era is still incredibly strong.
So despite the challenges, the democratic foundations remain solid.
Remarkably so. You still have high voter turnout, a fiercely independent judiciary, a free and diverse media. International rankings consistently place Germany very high for democratic governance, rule of law, civil liberties. Freedom House gives it a 95 out of 100, free. The World Justice Project ranks it fifth for rule of law. It's a testament to that enduring commitment.
And that stability, that rule of law, it must be a huge factor in Germany's economic success, right?
Absolutely. They form the bedrock. You can't separate the political stability from the economic powerhouse that Germany is.
Okay, let's shift to that economic power. World-class infrastructure, too. They talk about the social market economy. What does that actually mean?
It's this really interesting and pretty successful blend. It combines a basically capitalist free market system with strong social welfare guarantees. Think universal health care, unemployment benefits, pensions, things that provide a safety net.
And it works.
Well, the results spoke for themselves. Germany is Europe's largest economy, consistently in the top four globally by nominal GDP, around $4.5 trillion recently. Plus, a high GDP per capita and really low unemployment, usually hovering between 3 and 5%.
What about the cost of living? People often assume it's super expensive.
It's actually moderate compared to many other major Western economies. Housing, especially outside the biggest cities, can often be cheaper than in the U.S., for example, and those extensive social services contribute a lot to a very high standard of living overall.
And they really earned that nickname, Werkstatt der Welt, the workshop of the world.
They really do. What's distinctive is that while they have a big modern service sector, like most developed economies, about 70% of GDP, they've kept this incredibly strong manufacturing and engineering core. That's around 29% of GDP, much higher than in many other countries.
Which makes them a massive exporter.
Huge. Third largest exporter in the world, I think. Shipping out something like $1.66 trillion worth of goods in 2024. They run a massive trade surplus, meaning they sell way more than they buy. About half of everything they produce gets sold abroad.
Wow. And that's driven by those iconic industries we know.
Cars.
Yep. Automotive is massive. Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Porsche.
Yeah.
But also machinery, chemicals, think BASF, Bayer Electronics, pharmaceuticals, big global players.
But it's not just the big names, is it? I've heard about the middle stand. Ah, yes. The middle stand is crucial. These are the small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. They actually make up over 99% of all German companies. Often family-owned, highly specialized, focusing on niche products. They're often called hidden champions because they might not be household names, but they're global leaders in their specific fields. Germany has almost half the world's market leaders in these small sectors. It's incredible.
That really paints a different picture of their economy. It's not just giants, it's this deep network of specialists.
Exactly. It reflects this cultural value placed on deep expertise and long-term stability over short-term profit sometimes.
Fiscally, they tend to be pretty careful.
Generally, yes. They use the euro, of course. The European Central Bank is actually based in Frankfurt, which says something. Germany often runs trade surpluses and usually aims for budget surpluses too, which helps keep public debt at a moderate level compared to many others.
Okay, let's talk infrastructure, because that's another area where Germany shines.
Oh yeah, cutting edge is the word. They have incredibly dense and modern transport networks. It's a major European hub.
The Autobahn, obviously.
Yeah.
Famous, or maybe infamous.
Yeah, the 13,000-kilometer highway network. And yes, the most debated feature is that many stretches still have no general speed limit. Always a hot topic in Germany.
I bet. But it's not just roads, right? Their trains are supposed to be amazing.
They really are. The high-speed rail network is fantastic. About 38,000 kilometers of track overall. And those sleek intercity express trains, the ICE, they connect major cities super fast, hitting speeds up to 300 kilometers.
Like Berlin to Munich.
In about 4 hours. Yeah, it makes train travel really competitive with flying domestically.
And air and sea.
Major hubs there, too. Frankfurt Airport is one of Europe's busiest, if not the busiest for cargo. Munich and Berlin-Brandenburg are huge international gateways as well. And Hamburg is Europe's third busiest seaport. Critical for all that export.
What about digitally? Are they as advanced there?
Pretty much. Internet penetration is over 92%. And they invest a lot in R&D, about 3.1% of GDP, which helps make them the world's second largest exporter of high-tech goods. Although, there's this funny little quirk.
Oh.
Yeah, despite all the high-tech stuff, Germans themselves will joke about the bureaucracy. You still encounter a surprising amount of paperwork, and yes, even the occasional fax machine in daily life. It's a bit of a contrast.
Uh-huh. That's brilliant. A little reminder that not everything is hyper-modern.
Yeah.
And we should quickly mention the energy infrastructure again, that shift to renewables through nuclear phase-out, and now building LNG terminals really fast since 2022 to diversify supply.
Right. It shows their ability to adapt, even in complex areas like energy. It's clear they're an economic and infrastructural giant built on resilience and innovation.
Definitely. But, okay, to really get Germany, we need to look beyond the economy and infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
We need to explore the society, the culture, the daily life,
Yeah.
the German tapestry, so to speak.
Absolutely. And it often challenges those stereotypes of, just being efficient and orderly. There's a lot more nuance.
So population-wise, it's the biggest in the EU.
Yep. Most populous EU country. Over 84 million people. And it's become remarkably multicultural. About 29% of the population now has an immigrant background.
And besides recent immigration, there are also long-established minority groups.
That's right. There are recognized national minorities like the Danish community up north, the Frisians, the Sorbs in the east, and Roma and Sinti communities. Their languages and cultures are protected.
Speaking of languages, German is obviously official. And it's widely spoken beyond Germany, too.
It is. Interestingly, German is the most widely spoken first language in the EU, with around 100 million native speakers across Germany, Austria, parts of Switzerland, etc. But within Germany, immigration has brought huge linguistic diversity. Turkish is very common, Arabic, Polish. And English is easily the top foreign language. Something like 2/3 of Germans can converse in at least one foreign language, usually English.
Okay. What about religion? That landscape has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Massively. Germany was traditionally very much a Christian nation, split between Catholic and Protestant. Christianity is still the largest group, maybe just under 50% now, roughly split between Catholics and Protestants. But the key thing is practicing Christians are now a minority. And crucially, about 46% of the population identifies as non-religious.
Wow, nearly half. Is that evenly spread?
Not really. It's much higher in big cities and especially in the eastern states. That's partly a legacy of the former East Germany, the GDR, which promoted state atheism. So for the first time ever, fewer than half of Germans actually belong to a church.
And other faiths.
Islam is the second largest, around 5.5 million people, maybe 6-7% of the population, largely with roots in Turkey, but also the Middle East and elsewhere. And Jewish life, tragically decimated by the Holocaust, has seen a rebuilding with maybe 100,000 adherents today.
So a diverse society. And culturally, Germany's contributions are just immense, aren't they?
Oh, staggering. You just start listing names. In classical music, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, Wagner,
Right.
giants.
Yes.
Goethe, Schiller, the Brothers Grimm collecting fairy tales, Thomas Mann, Günter Grass, philosophy, Kant, Hegel, Marx, Nietzsche, foundational thinkers.
Visual arts and design, too.
Absolutely. Albrecht Dürer in the Renaissance, expressionist movements like Die Brücke and Der Blaureiter, and then the Bauhaus school in the 20th century, totally revolutionary for design and architecture. Its influence is still everywhere.
And more contemporary stuff.
Definitely. Think electronic music pioneers like Kraftwerk. And the Berlin techno scene became world famous, hugely influential globally.
A true cultural powerhouse. Okay, let's talk about something maybe a bit more down to earth. Food and drink. What are the absolute must-mentions?
Well, you have to start with bread and sausages. Germans take immense pride in their bread. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of varieties. Bakeries are essential. And sausages. Bratwurst, Weisswurst down in Bavaria, currywurst, which is like a Berlin icon. Over 1,500 types, apparently.
1,500. And beer, of course.
Of course. Beer is arguably Germany's most celebrated beverage. Hundreds of local breweries, fierce regional pride, and the famous Reinheitsgebot, the beer purity law from 1516, one of the oldest food regulations still around. It basically says beer should only contain water, barley, and hops. Yeast was added later.
And Oktoberfest.
The ultimate beer festival. Held in Munich, it's the world's largest. The beer gardens in summer, local beer festivals. Beer is integral to social life.
Beyond sausage and beer, what about main dishes?
Lots of hearty stuff. Schnitzel is beloved everywhere. Sauerbraten, a marinated pot roast, rouladen, beef rolls, lots of regional specialties involving pork, potatoes, cabbage, and don't forget the German sweet tooth. Cakes are a big deal. Black Forest Gâteau is probably the most famous internationally.
Yes. And they have that tradition of afternoon coffee and cake.
Kaffee and Kuchen. Yes, it's a cherished social ritual, meeting friends or family in the afternoon for a slice of cake and a coffee. It's a lovely, relaxed part of the day.
This brings us nicely into social norms and daily life. What really stands out about how Germans interact, how they live day to day?
Well, punctuality is definitely a big one. You mentioned it earlier. That saying, 5 Minuten vor der Zeit ist die deutsche Pünktlichkeit. 5 minutes early is true German punctuality. It's kind of true. Being on time shows respect.
And direct communication.
Yes, very much so. Germans tend to value clarity and honesty. Sometimes it can seem blunt to outsiders, but it's not meant rudely. It's about being straightforward.
Formality, too. Using titles.
Yeah, using the formal Sie for you and titles like Herr, Mr., and Frau, Mrs., Mrs., is standard in professional settings or when meeting people until you're invited to use the informal du and first names. Handshakes are common greetings, firm ones usually.
What about civic-mindedness? That seems strong.
It really is. You see it in small things like waiting patiently at an empty red pedestrian light. It's about following the rules for the good of everyone. Diligent recycling is another example. And respecting roadside quiet time, especially on Sundays and during certain hours in the evening. Noise regulations are often taken quite seriously. It's about community consideration.
That image of waiting at the empty red light really sticks. What about work-life balance? They seem to have that figured out better than some places.
They generally do. The average work week is around 38 hours, and vacation time is generous, typically 25 to 30 paid days a year, plus public holidays. This definitely supports a strong appreciation for leisure time, for being outdoors. Hiking and cycling are incredibly popular pastimes. Germans love to travel, too.
And community life, clubs.
Huge. Local clubs, or Verein, are central to social life for millions. Sports clubs, singing clubs, gardening clubs, you name it. It fosters community spirit. And speaking of sports, football soccer is massive. The Bundesliga is huge, and the national team, Der Mannschaft, having won 4 World Cups, is a source of great national pride.
So it's not all just rules and efficiency. There's this other side, Gemütlichkeit.
Ah, Gemütlichkeit. Yes, it's a key concept. It's hard to translate perfectly, but it means something like coziness, warmth, good cheer, a sense of belonging, and social contentment. It really challenges that stereotype of Germans being purely strict or reserved. It highlights the value they place on friendship, community, simple pleasures. Enjoying a beer with friends, a leisurely Sunday, grilling with neighbors. It's a really important, warm aspect of the culture.
That's a fantastic insight. It adds so much depth. And this warmth comes through in their festivals too, right? Oktoberfest, Christmas markets.
Definitely. Christmas markets, Weihnachtsmarkt, are magical all over the country. And carnival, called Fasching or Fastnacht, depending on the region, is huge in places like Cologne and Mainz with parades and costumes. It's a time to let loose.
And the regional differences are quite distinct.
Oh, very much so. Bavaria in the south has its own strong identity. Think Lederhosen, dirndls, maybe a slightly slower pace, distinct dialect. The Rhineland is known for its particular sense of humor and that carnival enthusiasm. The north has more of a maritime feel. And the former East German states still retain some distinct cultural traits and community spirit, alongside all the modernization since reunification. It really is a diverse social fabric.
So bringing it all together, this strong society, the culture, the stability, it clearly contributes to a high quality of life and presumably safety.
Absolutely. Germany consistently ranks as a very safe country. It's in the top 20 or so on the Global Peace Index. Violent crime rates are low. The homicide rate is about a quarter of that in the U.S., for instance. And that strong rule of law we talked about, it's ranked 5th worldwide. People generally feel secure.
And human rights are protected.
Explicitly. The basic law, the Constitution, starts with human dignity shall be inviolable. Democratic freedoms, minority rights, they're constitutionally guaranteed and upheld by a powerful federal constitutional court. And as we mentioned, that unique aspect of outlawing things like Nazi symbols or Holocaust denial, it's a very clear line drawn based on their history.
What about healthcare? You mentioned the social market economy.
Yeah, it's a cornerstone. Germany has a high-quality universal healthcare system. It's actually the world's oldest, dating back to Bismarck in the 1880s. Pretty much everyone is covered by statutory or private health insurance. There's a strong emphasis on preventative care, and they even have this interesting concept of the Kur, a preventative health spa treatment, often covered by insurance for rehabilitation or managing chronic conditions.
And education. That seems like another strong point.
Definitely. The public education system is generally excellent, with high literacy rates. University education is largely free or very low cost, even for many international students, which attracts a lot of talent. And the Dualausbildung, the dual apprenticeship system, is world-renowned. It combines classroom learning with practical on-the-job training, leading to highly skilled workers and contributing to Germany's remarkably low youth unemployment rate.
That's really impressive. And they seem prepared for emergencies, too. You mentioned the floods.
They are quite proactive. There's the Federal Office of Civil Protection and Disaster Assistance, BBK, that coordinates efforts. And the Technisches Hilfswerk, THW, is this amazing, largely volunteer-based civil protection organization that provides technical assistance during disasters, both in Germany and abroad. They were crucial during the 2021 floods.
So this strong internal foundation, safety, healthcare, education, preparedness, it allows Germany to play a really prominent role globally, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. That internal stability translates into external influence. And Germany's approach to the world is deeply shaped by its 20th century history.
How so?
Well, the traumas of two world wars and the Nazi era led to a profound post-war commitment to multilateralism, international cooperation, and peace. Germany essentially rebuilt its identity as an economic and diplomatic heavyweight, but with a strong pacifist streak for a long
And
time.
a key player in Europe,
A
obviously.
key player, arguably, a founding member of what became the EU, and a constant driving force for deeper integration, the euro, common policies. It often acts as a sort of anchor or balancing force within the EU. You see German leadership figures often in top EU roles, like Ursula von der Leyen as the current European Commission president. Germany has the most seats in the European Parliament, too.
What about security? NATO.
Also a pillar there. Germany was a founding member of NATO and is crucial for European defense due to its location and resources. But this is where we've seen a massive shift recently.
The Zeitenwende.
Exactly. Chancellor Scholz declared this Zeitenwende, or epochal turning point, right after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It signaled a fundamental change in German security policy. They committed to boosting defense spending significantly, aiming for the NATO target of 2% of GDP. They created a huge Euro 100 billion special fund for military modernization, and they became one of the biggest providers of military aid, including heavy weapons, to Ukraine.
That's a really profound change from that historical pacifism.
It really is a major redefinition of its global security role, driven by new geopolitical realities.
Beyond Europe and NATO, how else does Germany engage globally?
Very actively. They're a major player in the UN, constantly advocating for reforms, including a permanent seat for themselves on the Security Council. They're central to the G7 and G20, pushing agendas on things like climate change, global health, free trade. Diplomatically, Germany generally has a very positive reputation, seen as stable, reliable, a partner you can work with. And their soft power is significant, promoted through the Goethe Institute network in over 90 countries, fostering cultural exchange and teaching German.
They're also big on foreign aid.
One of the world's largest donors, yes. In terms of relationships, the Franco-German partnership remains absolutely central to the EU. Ties with Poland have improved immensely over the decades. There's a special, historically rooted relationship with Israel. Relations with China are complex, huge economic ties. China is their biggest trading partner, but growing concerns about strategic dependence and human rights. And as we said, relations with Russia underwent a seismic shift after 2022, moving away from that old policy of Wandel durch Handel, change through trade.
And culturally, scientifically, their exports have had a huge impact globally.
Immense and enduring. We mentioned Bach, Beethoven, Goethe, Kant. Their influence is timeless. Bauhaus design principles are still taught everywhere. Made in Germany is a global seal of quality, especially for cars like Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, VW, but also for machinery, chemicals. And German food and drink culture has spread. Pretzels, beer gardens, Oktoberfest celebrations happen worldwide now.
Science and innovation, too.
Absolutely. Think Albert Einstein, Max Planck. German scientists have won around 100 Nobel Prizes. Research institutions like the Max Planck Society are world-leading. German universities attract students globally.
And modern cultural influence.
Still strong.
Yeah.
German techno DJs play festivals everywhere. German films occasionally break through internationally. The Bundesliga Football League is broadcast all over the world.
And they project themselves as a leader on values, too. Human rights, refugees.
Yes, very much so. Germany's commitment to international law and human rights is central to its foreign policy. They took in a very large number of refugees, especially from Syria in 2015, which was controversial domestically but projected a strong humanitarian stance. They're also a leader on climate finance for developing countries.
So wrapping it all up, Germany's global presence seems, well, transformed.
Completely. It's really a testament to this incredible journey from the depths of its past to becoming this pillar of liberal democracy, stability, and international partnership, leading through cooperation, reliability, and significant cultural appeal.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive has definitely shown us a Germany that's far more complex and, frankly, more interesting than the stereotypes. It's this unique blend, isn't it? Traditional and modern, that efficiency absolutely meeting that Gemütlichkeit, that warmth. We've covered so much: the geography, the roller coaster of history, the economic engine, the vibrant culture. It's really significant global impact.
It really paints a picture of a nation defined by resilience, by constant adaptation and innovation, but also by this deeply ingrained sense of responsibility both to its own people and increasingly to the wider world.
So, thinking about all that,
Hmm.
as Germany keeps navigating the pretty tricky complexities of the 21st century,
Okay.
tackling climate change, managing these evolving political dynamics at home, figuring out its new role in global security, what aspect of this whole remarkable journey do you personally find most compelling? And maybe what could other nations perhaps learn from Germany's unique way of trying to balance progress with principle?